Hi guys, welcome to the next video of RESTful tutorial series. From last couple of videos we are looking into the user services resource class. It has 5 methods inside it: create user, get user, update user, delete user and get special user. Now in the last video we already tested the get user and update user methods for @get annotation and @post annotation. Now, get user was tested by submitting an HTTP URL from browser, while update user was tested by submitting an HTML form with method as post. Now to test create user and delete user, we need put and delete HTTP request methods respectively, but there is no way using HTML we can send these two request methods. It only supports get and post HTTP request methods, but we can do this using JAX call from JavaScript code. So let's write some code in client.jsp to make an AJAX call inside script tag. Here we have written one JavaScript function load response, and on click of this button this function will get called. Inside this function we are trying to make an AJAX call. For this we created an XML HTTP request object, and for its ready state change we are registering one function. and inside this function we are checking if the ready state is 4, that is the final ready state of the XML HTTP object, and status of the URL is 200. Then we are adding the response text to our div having an ID myDiv. After that we are calling an open function of the XML HTTP object. There we need to pass XML HTTP request method and URL as parameters. The third parameter specifies whether the call should be asynchronous or not. We want it to be asynchronous, so the third parameter is set to true for us. After that we need to call the send function. When we call the send function, it will generate this URL and set the HTTP request method as put in the HTTP request header. So once the send is called, it will hit our web service method create user, and you can notice here I have given the path as create, which is matching the @path annotation which I have given for create user. Now let's try to run this in the server. But before running this client, the web service should be running. So let's test whether the web service is running for this URL. If it is running for this URL, it will generate get user method log statement in the console. And if we are getting that, that means web service is ready. So let's hit this. Okay, so we got the log statement for get user. That means web service is running. Now we can try running our client, which will make an AJAX call to this create user URL, and we should be able to get the log statement for the create user method. This one here. Let's run this on the server. Now let's hit the submit button. Okay, we got the log statement for create user method. So we are successfully able to call the create user method using the AJAX call. Now let's do the testing for delete. We need to change the request method parameter in the open function. Here it should be delete, and the URI for delete user doesn't have any path. So here remove this create, run this on server. Okay, now hit the submit button. We got the log statement for delete user method as well. So we are able to test both the create user and delete user for the HTTP put and HTTP delete request methods. Now there is one more method remaining here, is the get special user, which only has the @path. It doesn't have any HTTP request method annotation. So this is basically used for redirecting from one class to another subclass. So here it is actually redirecting us to special user class, and then some of the method of the special user class will be invoked depending on the HTTP request methods which we use to call the URL. So let's try to test this get special user method. Now this get special user method has a path as special. We can use the same browser here to test this. We have to just append special here, and this URL will generate HTTP GET request method. So when we hit this URL, it will hit this method, it will return this instance of this sub-resource class, and for get it will call this get special user, and we should be able to get the log statement like inside special user / get user method. Okay, let's hit this URL to test that method also. Okay, so we got this log statement also for the get special user method. So now we are able to successfully call all the 3 remaining methods. So effectively we have tested all the 5 methods here inside the resource class. Now we'll see some more things of the RESTful web service in the next video. Thanks for watching.